So, welcome. How are you? A surprise live stream this evening. I've got something kind of cool I want to share with you. Um, I guess within the past few months, you might know this because I've talked about this in a very recent video, actually. But in the last few months, I've made it a point to eat much more red meat, much more red meat, much more. I'm eating definitely a lot of butter, red meat, more fat, because as you probably know, as you probably remember, I was on a vegan diet for like 7 years until it like totally screwed my whole life up, and I just was losing my health very, very rapidly. So I decided to get off of the vegan diet. But more recently, a lot of red meat. It's been shown that red meat is not what we once. Red meat and fat and things like butter are not saturated fats are not what we once thought as far as being dangerous. Infowarrior, how you doing, Eric? What's going on? Yes, in omnivore because that's what I am. Well, I'm going to get into that, so you're going to love this, and because I'm not a carnivore. I mean, I definitely would consider myself omnivore, but heavy on red meat lately. Definitely, and eggs, a lot of eggs as well. But I've got something really interesting that just happened yesterday, as a matter of fact, that I wanted to share. I wanted to run by you guys and see what you think. See if there's anything to this at all. So, my wife is younger than I am. She's in really good physical shape. I mean, I say I'm in good physical shape. Since she's younger, she can usually her endurance is better. She can do things at a higher level than I can. Yesterday we went ski hiking. So in other words, what we do, we go up. There's a lot of snow here already in the canyons and in the mountains here. So what we do, we put on our skis, and if you're familiar with this, we put on these things called climbing skins on the bottom of the skis. And what that does, we've got special bindings, and what that does, it allows us to like hike uphill in our skis. And then once we get to the top, we stop, take off the climbing skins, adjust the bindings so then we can ski back down the hill. But the hill that we were climbing yesterday, it was actually a snow-covered road, which is like a gradual uphill. It took us about 1 hour to climb to the top of this hill on our skis. About an hour. It's definitely picture like cross-country skiing, but with regular skis on, and you kind of get an idea what that's like. It's a lot of work. It's higher altitude. You get out of breath. It's a great workout for about an hour uphill. But what happened was, my wife realized that she was like getting really winded, tired, out of breath. And remember, she's a great athlete. She's in really good shape, but it was the first time this winter, so give her a break. And we're not really in shape yet to do this, but we did it anyway because that's how you get in shape, by doing it. On the other hand, I didn't have any problem. I didn't feel like I was out of breath. I didn't feel like I was having a difficult time doing it. I wasn't tired, and I'm thinking like, hey, what's different? What did I do differently between this year and last year that is giving me this endurance to climb this hill on skis in snow? What's different? And then I thought, well, okay, I've been working out in the gym more, for sure. I've been doing that more. I feel stronger. However, I think the biggest difference is I've made it a point to eat much more red meat, animal products, eggs, butter, things. You get the picture, things like that. And by the way, you don't gain weight when you eat this stuff. As a matter of fact, it makes you healthier because I don't crave any type of processed food or sugary food or anything like that. So you kind of understand where I am on that. I believe it was the change in my diet that has given me more endurance to climb that hill on skis. I was curious. I did a quick Google search and let me do this right now. I did a really quick Google search, and I'm going to search. I'll do it again, and I'll read you the results because I was curious about this. Does eating more red meat help my endurance? Okay, simple question like that. Does eating more red meat help my endurance? And the answer from AI is yes, eating red meat can help with endurance because it contains nutrients that support energy, product, and metabolism. Iron, it goes on, but iron, B vitamins, creatine, monounsaturated fats. Red meat is also a good source of zinc and phosphorus, which are needed for metabolism. It goes on and explains why red meat is particularly good for endurance. So why am I sharing this with you? My podcast is called Microdose U. What does this have to do with microdosing magic mushrooms? As I say so many times to you, and by the way, if you're here, thanks for being here. Many people will watch this on the replay, but I really appreciate you being live here. And if you can hear me, if you're watching, give me a few hearts because I want to see some hearts go through the screen there because it gives me a little more energy to share my information with you. So just test it out. See if somebody just gave me a thumbs up, but click that little heart thing. If you're watching this on a computer, I think it's on the lower right-hand side. There we go. I think I just saw one. I think I saw one. Did a heart go across the screen? There we go. Thank you for that. I saw the second one. There we go. Okay. Thank you. Oh, I love it. I got to entertain myself if nobody else, right? And if you like what you're seeing, make sure you like, share, and subscribe because I think there are people. Oh, thanks for those hearts. Now you get it. Now they're coming. Okay. You finally got it. It took a little while. Okay. So why am I sharing this on a microdose channel? This is about mental health, microdosing psilocybin, feeling better mentally. Well, as I say, let's see, Eric says, balance is the key in diet. We need protein, vegetable, macronutrients, and micronutrients, but most essential is a full diet of all essential amino acids. Exactly right. That's where you're going to get they build your protein. And so that's exactly right. But yeah, it's all, again, there are many different diets out there. I was vegan for 7 years and I thought I was the healthiest I ever was until I became unhealthy. And there was a honeymoon period with being vegan. There was definitely a honeymoon period for the first couple years that everything was beautiful, everything was perfect. Again, until it wasn't. And my body started falling apart, both mentally and physically. But like I say, everything's connected. And if you don't think getting the proper nutrition, even as far as like the things that red meat offer, and again, I'm not a carnivore. I'm omnivore. I eat everything, but my diet these days is very heavily weighted towards meat and eggs for sure, and butter, very heavily weighted to that. And I'm going to be getting physical and lab work next month, and I'll have the results of that probably just a short time after that. And I'm very curious too. Like I'm kind of being a little bit of a guinea pig, and I'll share with you exactly what my blood work is. And I don't expect that my lipid panel is going to be bad. I don't expect my cholesterol is going to go way up. Nothing like that. I think it's going to be good because again, I don't believe there's a correlation as far as the more saturated fat you eat, the higher your cholesterol goes. I don't think there's a correlation. We used to think that. We don't think it anymore. Is it possible to be a healthy vegan? I don't think so. That's from Eric. I'll tell you, it's a really interesting question, Eric. So we used to go back when I lived on the East Coast. We used to go to these when I was really into the vegan thing, and I was like super vegan. I spoke at vegan festivals, conventions, meetings. I went to all the meetings locally. I went to potluck dinners. I was preaching the vegan thing, and there was a time I thought it was by far the healthiest diet. But it's funny. My wife and I used to go to these meetings and meetups and potluck dinners. And she made a comment to me. And I think looking back, I think she was really right on the money. She said, look around at these people. They don't really look that good. Their skin had like a weird hue to it. They don't all look that good. So Eric, I don't have an answer. I mean, some of the hardcore vegans would tell you that it's the healthiest diet and look at the research. Again, I don't know if I believe it. I used myself as my guinea pig. It was great for a little while. But after several years, my body started deteriorating. And the only thing I can chalk that up to is the vegan diet because I wasn't really doing anything else differently. Eggs and milk keep me alive. That's exactly the same with me. It's not unusual for me these days. I mean, I have 3 eggs every morning. Every morning. It's not unusual for me to have 2 to 3 more eggs during the course of the day. They make me feel good. They're inexpensive. Not that I'm going for an inexpensive diet. I'll do whatever it takes to eat the healthiest diet. But eggs are full of nutrition. And again, even though they contain cholesterol, there's no evidence that they will actually raise your blood cholesterol. And there's a lot more to your health than blood cholesterol. I've talked to you about this before, and this goes for mental and physical health. It's all about many things, but it's all about inflammation. And if you're chronically inflamed, then that's going to cause physical problems as far as as well as I should say, as well as mental problems. If you've got inflammation. So again, I recommend, I don't know if I talked about this in a recent podcast episode, but I recommend getting a blood test for inflammation to see if you've got chronic inflammation. And generally they use something called an HSCRP. It stands for high sensitivity C-reactive protein. That's a kind of like a standard test to see if you're inflamed, because if you've got inflammation, you're much more likely to have heart disease, develop heart disease, or have heart disease. And again, if you don't think that affects the brain and your mental health, you've got something else coming to you. Because again, so many people want to get on my channel here and they want to listen to my podcast, and they just want to start microdosing and nothing else. And they think that if I just microdose and don't change anything else, I'm going to be fine, because that's what Dr. Dave does. Well, Dr. Dave does microdose. I really believe in that. However, I've talked to you about so many other things I do. And having a total physical is one of those that's really important. But eating the right foods every day, cutting out the bad foods, and also taking the supplements. And I've done episodes on the supplements that I eat, that I take, that I consume, that I eat every. What's the right word? Supplements that I consume every day. And there's so many more things. I mean, of course, I've talked about journaling. I've talked about changing the trigger in your life that might be causing the mental health issues. Again, if you've got a problem with a spouse, or a problem with a partner, or a job, or a family member that's just rubbing you the wrong way and really just eating it, sucking your energy out, then all these things have to be looked at, because they all contribute to our mental health. So you can't just live in a vacuum and say, I'm just going to pop some microdose, I'm just fine, and do nothing else. You can't do that. And that's why I've been talking about diet, physicals, journaling, getting the bad things out of your life. I've been talking about all of these things, and you can't ignore any of them. You can't just say, I'm going to pick one or two. You can't just do that. You gotta take a look at everything that's going on in your life and make sure you're tweaking it and doing it right, because that's really the only way you're going to really start to feel better. Again, both mentally and physically. And that's what I want for you. I want to see you feeling better. Let's see. Eric says microdose psilocybin can lead to better exercise and diet, all things that can reduce inflammation. Exactly. Part of a holistic approach. See, that's what I've been. Eric, you need to come on here and be my guest sometime and share the stage with me, because what you're saying is exactly right. When you microdose, and again, I don't want to sound like a broken record, but I've been doing it for, it's coming up on 4 years now. In April, it's going to be 4 years. And the mushrooms are teachers. They've guided me in the right direction. They've guided me to look at my physical health, look at my medical situation, look at everything. Look at my spirituality, try to figure things out. Look at who I'm hanging out with. Are they the right people? I've done live streams on this over the past week or two. I've blocked people that I thought were like negative energy in my life and were adding to problems in my life. I blocked them. I don't wish them harm. I just want to get them out of here, because I want all positivity. People like you guys that are either here on the live stream or you're going to be watching the replay. I want positive people and positive events and positive things in my life. And that's how we move to that next level, feeling better every single day. And again, I mean mentally and physically. If you're feeling great mentally, but you're feeling shitty every day physically, then the two go hand in hand. There's no way you're going to be feeling good mentally. It's connected. So you got to do both. You got to do it all. That's why I'm trying to give you, as Eric just said, Infowarrior, I should say Infowarrior. I'm privy to his real name. I don't know if he wants me to say that or not, but I guess it's okay. Because he's got a handle, Infowarrior. But, what was I going to say about that? I lost my train of thought now. Maybe somebody can remind me. But I like hanging around with positive people like you guys, like our Nakama. I feel positivity. And talking makes me thirsty. Oh yeah. I like the positivity, and the people that I don't resonate with, they find something else. They go away. I had a guy recently who started asking me about political questions. Here, like this is my show. This is my show on microdosing and health and mental and physical health. He started asking me political questions like, Dr. Dave, I want to make sure you voted for the same candidate as I did. So please tell me who you voted for. Tell me I'm right. Tell me we're the same. And I refused to get into politics. And I said, no, I'm not. I don't talk politics. This is not a show about politics. I mean, I'll try to help people feel better from the stress related to politics and world events and all of that. I try to make people feel better no matter what side you're on. I don't care who you voted for. If you didn't vote, I don't care. It doesn't matter. I want to make you feel better. But this guy started attacking me. Like, I need to know who you voted for. And I've refused to tell him. And I have a feeling he went away. And so be it. I can't be the do all and end all to every single person. It's impossible. If you try to please, and this goes with your life also. If we try to please everybody, then we don't please anybody at all, and it really takes a toll on us. We can't be people pleasers where we just please everybody and make everybody happy. It doesn't. Unfortunately, life doesn't work like that. I try to be kind. I try to give you the best information and put out the best show that I can. But if somebody crosses the line and starts giving me trouble or a hard time and demands something from me, I just have to say, no, I can't do that. No, that's not what this show is about. And I will do that. And if they want to move on, they can move on. I hope they stay, but if they want to move on, it's not going to affect my life. This guy actually threatened me. He threatened me that if you don't tell me, I'm gonna move on. And I just said, then you might want to move on, because I'm not gonna break my rules here. So it's crazy out there. Running a podcast is not exactly how it appears. There's some craziness involved behind the scenes that, I generally don't talk about, because I love what I do and I love helping people. But you do have to deal with some craziness out there, which I'm willing to do. I'm willing to do because it's at the end of the day, that's a horrible expression too. I hate that. But it's at the end of the day, it's worth it. It's worth serving you, people that have a good, positive attitude and want to really heal and are not looking for trouble. So that's what I have to say today. Before I leave, let me see a few hearts to make my evening really feel good. Let me just see a few more hearts, and I'm going to be out of here, and I'm going to let you go. And let me see one. So Remy says, I've been on ketogenic for 2 years, and I feel. And after battling with 2 different cancers, I've never felt better in 30 years. I'm 67. Remy, so cool to hear that. Wow, that's really good. So again, goes along kind of with what I'm saying. The way we choose to eat can really affect our mental and physical health. And Remy, Godspeed to you. I hope you get better and better. You're actually a couple of years younger than I am, so you're a youngster. And Eric, thank you very much. Thanks everybody that's here, either on the live stream, which I love interacting with you, or if you're watching this after the fact and it's recorded. Either way, Dr. Dave, Microdose U, and I love you, and thank you so much for being here. And I'll be back. Let's see, we got one more real quick comment from Eric before we go. I see a psilocybin as a genetic guider. I call it Gaia. That's my living experience. Terrence McKenna was on to a lot of right ideas. He was Eric, wasn't he? I read his books after my first macro. That's a great way to end it. Love it, love it, love it. Very cool. Eric, thank you for your energy. I love it when you're able to jump onto the live streams because the energy is just so wonderful here, but not just everybody. And even if you're here watching, which I know you are, and you're not commenting, it's still fine. I really appreciate the fact that you're here, soaking up the energy, soaking up the information, and most importantly, um, making yourself and your life and your health better. That's what it's all about. Talk to you really soon. Thanks so much for being here.